Cascade Hoops Talk Billy D. Hey, I got Dave here. He's a man I met on the airplane out to Kansas City. And I bent his ear about NAIA college basketball. And I told him to come over to the municipal. And I was going to go around and talk to some people. And I heard this voice going, Bill, Bill. And here he is. So your first, I'm assuming that's your first NAIA college basketball game.
Yeah, absolutely, my first NAIA game. And first of all, thanks for chatting with me about it and remembering me from the airport as well, sitting next to me on the way here from Seattle. Yeah, first game. I thought crowd was into it, pretty exciting. 1 versus 2 for that bracket, right? And 2 very good teams, and so it was exciting to watch.
Yeah. What was the quality of basketball about what you expected? Hey, how you doing? I'll get with you in a couple minutes. Was the quality of basketball just what you were expecting, or?
Yeah, I think it was on par with what I expected. My expectations were teams that were disciplined, teams that ran through their plays, set good screens, played good defense. It wasn't that one-on-one, couple dribble, go to the basket type of Division I type of basketball. Much more disciplined than other levels. So right where I thought it was going to be.
You and I talked just while we started. Your impression was the same as mine. I described. This is just my impression. I've seen Arizona Christian and Grace both play a lot. I would describe Grace as disciplined and gritty, and Arizona Christian as physical and athletic. Today, physical and athletic really won out the day.
Yeah, it absolutely did. I mean, watching them in warm-ups, my first thought was, I don't know if this is going to be close. But then as the game, progressed, certainly the first couple minutes, getting the jitters out, right?
Yeah.
But as the first half went on, you could just see that Grace played within themselves. They have a system. They made good passes. They didn't force shots. And Arizona, I thought, could have taken advantage of their athleticism and their toughness inside a little bit more. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. Relied on the threes a little bit. That one, I think, number 3 for them. Got a nice soft stroke. He made a couple, which kept the game very close in that first half for them.
They really struggled shooting.
They did struggle shooting. Yeah, without him making those couple of threes, it's a different first half. But I thought Arizona could have taken advantage of their physicality a little bit more than they did. But that kind of won out at the end of the second half on the boards, and then certainly, they made their free throws that last minute, which was the key to the game.
You and I talked the other day, and you were able to play some high school baseball, some D3 baseball. When you look back at it, when a young person gets the opportunity to play intercollegiate sports or even high school sports, I feel it's a huge advantage to learn teamwork, discipline. What are your thoughts on that? How do you think it affected your life?
Yeah, I've always been a big believer that,
I want to make sure that's all.
Okay,
go ahead.
I've always been a big believer, Bill, that, sports and leadership go together. Many different forms of leadership, but also partnerships, collaboration, building a team, and having the ability to go through a bunch of different systems, different coaches, different styles, helped me in my professional career once I was done playing adapt to different managers that I had, different company cultures that I had as well. And all of those things kind of molded who I became as a professional. Now I'm an old man, right?
Well, you're not that old, but okay.
It's a little bit different, but back when I first started, I relied an awful lot on the things I learned in high school, in college, and also coaching as well in my 20s, and bringing that to teams that I was a part of.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a curveball, baseball.
Yeah, make it a hanging curveball, will you, please?
So you describe yourself as kind of a jump ball pitcher.
100%.
You like tricking the hitters. So Did you walk away from your baseball career with that experience, with learning about people and being able to use some of that what you learned? Because you learn about people if you're a pitcher, right? You and I talked about getting a guy to hit one inside over the fence and then teasing from the outside.
Right.
Did any of that play forward in the rest of you? Did you learn a lot about people that was helpful?
1,000. I walked away from the game with two things. Number one, a really bad elbow. Okay, that's probably first and foremost. But number two was learning about people and different personalities and how people react to adversity in sports. And do they keep their composure? Do they let their emotions get the best of them? Do they make themselves vulnerable and share their feelings with other people on the team and rely on others? And because you've got people that have a shoulder that you can lean on, right? And it doesn't matter if it's sports or family from a personal standpoint or even from a career standpoint. I learned an awful lot about people when you win and when you lose and how do they react to that. And you become a better person as a winner and as a loser in competition. So I would agree that you learn an awful lot about people from a bunch of different levels, leadership down to your peers when you're playing any sport.
And then one other thing that we talked about the other day was also you've umpired and refereed quite a bit.
I have.
You're not doing it right now.
I am not.
Because it's gotten a little nasty at the high school level.
Yeah.
But that also, I don't know a better way to learn about people than umpiring or refereeing.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up this topic, Bill. We were sitting in the crowd during a very close game in game number one, right? And sitting next to one of the team's fan bases, we heard some things up in that fan base towards the referees that you would say, is that really necessary? Is that really part of the game? And I think, unfortunately, it's become worse and worse. Some of the things that are said to referees, umpires, officials in any sport. And, you mentioned I'm not doing it anymore. That was the main reason that I stopped and took a time out from it because it takes the joy out of it for the referee. And I was watching the referees during that game. There were a couple, certainly you can't have rabbit ears, right? But there were a couple times where I saw them kind of glance up at the benches, at the crowd, and they're human beings at the same time. And as much as they try to close it out, some of the things that they do here, it can have an impact on you, but you can't let it have an impact on you because you've got a very important game in front of you that's dictating a national champion at the end of it.
So would you come to another NAI event?
I would absolutely. It was as a matter of fact, I was looking up how do I become a volunteer for next year.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, I would love to be a part of this, and so I will be clicking on that link to become a volunteer here in Kansas City at the Municipal Arena. So if you're in the Kansas City area at any time next spring, this is an amazing event that they put together. The people are amazing. Folks like Bill and others who support this event, not only just for the tournament, but holistically for the entire year. I think it's fantastic. I'm so happy to be here, sitting up in the stands, and this will now become a year-round thing for me.
Oh, awesome.
So thanks to you, you've turned me on to the NAIA game.
One fan at a time.
Yes.
Well, actually, you brought your wife. So
I did. Yeah. So we've got. You've got me as a fan for life, that's for sure.
Well, Dave, thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for sitting down with me,
Absolutely.
having to put your face in the camera. But thank you very much.
My pleasure.